Hey guys, I'm Roger Wakefield, lead AP, the expert plumber, coming to you on YouTube Live. Happy Monday. How's everybody doing? Just trying to look down and make sure we got things right, and I think that we do. How's everybody doing today? Man, this has been fun. I've had a good weekend. Went to my sister's, got to go work on some plumbing at her house. She's got a place out on Lake Travis. Been there this weekend. Just got back in. I've been on the phone, it seems like all day, talking to people about sponsorships and opportunities and marketing. God, it's getting crazy. When your business is doing good, and what I mean by that, when what we're doing on social media is doing good, everybody reaches out, and man, I see it. Have y'all looked at the comments? Look at everything that we get. It really is. It's good. It's a wonderful thing. It's a lot of fun. And man, I am just loving it. So I'm going to run through here real quick and say hello. Got Dappa Mike in the house. How we doing? Good to see you. Ben Marshall says, hey, Roger, commented a few months ago about getting in the union. However, they paused interviews for the time being. Recently just got into residential and commercial service plumbing company and love it. Ben, good for you. I'll tell you what. Number one, I love, I love this. I love what we do. I love what we get to do, and it's a lot of fun. Will, if you're watching, we don't have our lower thirds today. I don't know if I did something wrong or picked something wrong or what we did, but you know, it is what it is. See if we do have two cameras, which is a good thing. Maybe I don't have those since I have these comments. Maybe that's what we did. So Ben, what I'll tell you is, do I have lower? Okay, cool. So you know, the cool thing is, and I'll put this up here, is you know, Ben, if you commented about getting the union, look, man, the union has slowed down. They're doing a lot of different things. I get it. I understand it. They're trying not to get people together, but man, I think you did a good thing. Go out and get a job. Get a job as a plumber, as a plumber's apprentice, where you can get in and start learning. Then when the union does start bringing in people again, if it's something you're interested in, then you can go talk to them and see what it would take to get in there, and then you'll have some experience. So when you start talking to them about plumbing, it's going to help you out a lot. Out in Arizona. You know what the funny thing is I was out in Arizona just a few weeks ago. I'll say a few weeks ago. It's been a while now. Anyway, got to go out there. I'm supposed to go back in September to speak at an event. So love it down there. Dappa Mike says, hey, Ben, you answered my question for me. I want to join the union, but this HVAC and plumbing company wants to train you on plumbing and HVAC, even though you have no experience. You know, Dappa Mike, here's the thing is, look, none of us had experience when we started doing this. And I still remember going down and applying for my first job. A guy actually sat across this desk and looked at me, and he said, so what do you know about plumbing? And I looked him straight, and I said, nothing, but I'm willing to learn. And it was a great answer because he knew by my answer, by the look in my eye, I wasn't joking. I'm like, hey, look, I'm willing to learn. And that's a big deal. Sorry about that. I've been running all day. I've been actually out in the heat. I know y'all find it hard to believe. But doing okay. It's a little warm in Texas. It's probably 95, 98 degrees outside right now, so it's kind of fun. Man, how am I supposed to say all this? Doom Dafuido, and I'm close. Doom Dafuido says, just began my plumbing apprentice today in upstate New York. Man, good for you. What local is it? And the reason I ask is I know people down at Local 1 in NYC. And I tell you what, number one, I love the training programs that the union has. People ask me all the time about the union, what I think about it. And look, man, my thing is, look, I love it. For an employee, I think it's phenomenal. For an employer like me, since I own a company, I think it's horrible. But, you know, the bigger you are, the more people you use, I'm sure the better it is. It's just my local union doesn't train service, so they can't give me any people. They can't give me training for my people, so they really don't do a lot for me. But as an employee, I thought the union was great. Dappa Mike says, I turned down Roto-Rooter because they wanted to only train you for 3 weeks and then let you go on your own. Now, and man, I got to tell you, I don't necessarily have any problem with that. 3 weeks is probably a little quick. I actually went out and met with a company out of Burbank, California, and talked to them about what all they were doing. They can take somebody off the street, put them in a truck in 9 weeks. But the way they do it, they bring you into the shop, they train you twice or 3 times a week. They put you in a truck twice a week with a journeyman who's already gone through the training program, and they give you in-shop training and in the field training for 9 weeks straight to help teach it to you. And I got to tell you, I don't think that's a bad deal. I actually think that if we could do that in Texas and speed up the process, now maybe not 9 weeks, but I mean, for a residential service plumber, that's not very long. And I mean, if I can just teach someone how to clean out drains, how to unstop a P-trap, how to tighten up a slip joint nut, how to do a lot of different things like that, I think that there's a way that we could speed up the process and help people make money faster. So Mike Marshall says, yeah, Mike, I think it's a great idea just to get some experience, at least until you can get into the union. Good for y'all, guys. Jonathan Gomez says, hi, Roger. Big fan. Love your videos. I have a question for you. So I started my own business, and I know social media is huge. So I have a page on Facebook. I'm trying to increase the views and have something. Have customers contact you a lot more. Any advice? And the biggest advice I can tell you is, look, it's not all about just Facebook, but Facebook is a big one. If that's where your avatar is, if that's where your people are hanging out at, it's a great place to start sharing information, share content, give value away to people, teach them how to do some things that maybe they can do themselves pretty easy, but also reach out to connect with people that you know are in your area. Because the more people that see your content, the more eyes you get on it, the better you are. And I used to have a guy trying to teach me how to do Facebook. And he's like, look, just connect with everybody in the world. And his whole thing is get to 100,000 followers, get 100,000 people in your group, and you're a rock star. Well, the problem is 100,000 people that are never going to buy from me. I'd rather have 10 people that watch my content on a regular basis. And I think that's why our YouTube is doing so well, is that we put out great content. And it's content that a lot of people watch. You know, the people that are in here and on the pages I'm on, I can't even see it, but man, we get a lot of engagement. We get a lot of thumbs up. We get a lot of likes. We have people share a lot of our videos with other people that they know. So, man, this has been really good for me. And man, I'll tell you what, it's great. We love it. And man, we're just going to keep doing it. And that's for sure. So Mitch Goss says, congrats, Ben. I asked about ways to get into that trade last week. The next day I went out and try and get any advice or shadowing opportunities. And you know what, Mitch, if you're down in Austin, then there's some good companies down there. There's some good people. People reach out and talk to me a lot. So I find out about all kinds of things going. But, you know, now it's not very hard to get a job in a trades because every trades company needs help. And guys, if you'll get out and talk to people, I had somebody in last week that said, Roger, I watched your video. I went out the next day and just went from company to company to company to apply, and I got a job. And man, sometimes that's what it takes. Customer contact me a lot. Okay, got back to that. I'm on a city water. My static pressure is 40 PSI. Outdoor spigot is a 1/2-inch line. It takes 1 minute, 30 seconds to fill a 5-gallon bucket. Any way to improve? Man, at 40 PSI, it's going to be tough. At 40 PSI, do you have a flow restrictor? Do you have a PRV built in? Is there something in the valve that's clogging it up and slowing it down? You know, normally an outside hose bib fills pretty fast. So that's one, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. Is something clogging it? And do you have something in there that could be blocking it? Do you have a Pebble? Do you have anything like that? Or is it just maybe that, it's an old line? Has it always been like this? There's a lot of different questions and a lot of things to look at, but I love it. Ben Marshall says, applied to almost every company in Tucson and called them all. Called them all back frequently, and eventually company gave you a chance. Persistence is the key. That's your best advice. Amen. Got Chris Buck in the house. Chris, how are you doing? Good to see you in here. Steve, hello from Dayton, Ohio. Man, everybody tell me where you're from. And it's really neat because it's nice to know where everybody's at, what's going on, what's happening. Steve, I'll ask you, how's everything going up there? And where is Dayton? I've been to Columbus. I've been to Cincinnati. What's going on up there? How's the COVID? How's everything going on? Victor Jimenez says, if you ask for a transfer from one local to another, they have to try and transfer you right. I'm not going to say that they have to try. Normally they will. If you want to go from Houston to Dallas, normally what happens is, as long as you're in good standings with everything, your benefits are not your benefits, your dues are paid up. You're not missing school. If you're an apprentice, you show up at work, you've got a good reputation. They'll normally try to get you moved. The reason being is if we need help in Dallas, it looks good on them because they're supplying people. But the reason too that they want to make sure that you show up, you do everything. Here's the thing is they want to send good people because they want other people to be able to come from that local. And if you're not a good person, they send you up there and they're like, man, don't hire anybody else from Dallas. It hurts a lot of people. So kind of tough. So Tom Flatian, man, I'm close. I got my glasses, so good luck with that. What plumbing services will increase or come about due to COVID-19? And I don't know that there's going to be really a change in services. I think that what's going to happen is we're going to change. Plumbers are going to change. We're going to think safer. We're going to work smarter. We're going to be more careful walking into people's houses. We're going to be more careful when we're in their houses, where we're laying our tools, how we're cleaning them, what we're doing with them. A lot of different things. And yes, I'm drinking iced tea today. So I don't know that there's a lot of things that are going to change. It's just the way that we do things, the services, the questions we ask when we call customers, the things that we ask them, is anybody sick? Is anybody running a fever? Has anybody been isolated? Are there things like that going on that we need to be aware of to take care of our families, to take care of our plumbers and their families? So it's a big deal. DKD Da, yes, I'm drinking iced tea. Now I do have water too, so I'm good both ways, but I'm ready. Joe Bologna says, I'm having a washer problem. The washer's fairly new, but the washer is not going through its full cycle. The clothes are still dripping wet. What can I do to fix it? Now, I'm going to tell you, the neat thing about this is I like this because there's a company in the Dallas area called Adam the Answer Man. And if you'll Google it, call them, they'll get your model number, serial number. They'll have you go through things. They will tell you what it is. They'll sell you the part and tell you what all you got to do to fix it. And I fixed a lot of appliances with that, so I really do like that. Old worker farmer turned 100 years old, and local paper asked him what was the greatest invention you have seen in your 100 years? Indoor plumbing. Amen. And I got to tell you, I used to have grandparents down in Austin, actually outside of Austin, and they had outhouses, and I still remember going to use the outhouse. So it's crazy. We have the great Neil, the urban explorer, in the house. Good to see you in here, brother. I hope things are going well. How's everything going over there? I know that, man, this stuff is everywhere. But how is it over there? I know that Dallas is opening back up, probably faster than they should, but it is opening back up. Sorry about that. I need to get that down. My throat's been itchy since I've been out in the heat all day. John Cervetis says, hello, I'm currently in the process of attempting to join my local UA for plumbers, and I have an interview scheduled for the 16th. Any tips for the interview? And this is a really good question because this is one that I get a lot, and this is one that I think is the biggest thing for people. Number one, when you walk into an interview, just understand, look, you don't have to hit a home run. You don't have to knock it out of the park, but you want to leave a lasting impression. You want them to think, wow, I was really impressed by that person. And I think it's done by showing up with the right attitude, leaving your phone either in your car, in your pocket, turned off, whatever it is. But I think that there's a lot of different things that you can do. Know a little bit about plumbing. I've got videos about it. What questions should you ask? And those are big ones to me. When I get to the end and I'm like, look, I've talked about everything. Do you have any questions? The ones that say, no questions. You answered everything. I really doubt that I answered everything going on in your mind. And I love people that really say, hey, look, I want to know, man, what about this? What's your culture like? What's this like? What's this like? Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to sit there and answer 100 questions all day. But if you've got 2 or 3 questions of things that are really concerning you or could be a deal breaker or maybe very, very important to you, man, bring them up. Let's talk about them. And I love it when people do that. That's a big deal. John Cervantes says, also, would I be using my own transportation to every job site? Probably not. Is Fort Worth a good city to stay in if you want to become a plumber after you graduate? Cruise, man, Fort Worth is great. It's Cowtown. There's nothing wrong with it. It's probably a little bit more country than Dallas. Dallas is probably a little more city. Fort Worth a little more country. But, man, look, I love both of them. Okay, so here we go. We got Matt Michaels from Chicago. We got John Cervantes from North Carolina. Dappa Mike from Denver. I was on the phone with people from Denver today. Cruz in Fort Worth. The Urban Explorer, of course, is in Liverpool in the United Kingdom. DR702 in Las Vegas. Mary Cantu. Unique Service Plumbing, Corpus Christi, Texas. I love that. Joe from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Man, I'm sure I messed it up. Coeur d'Alene. Man. Ben Marshall. Also, Roger, your videos have helped me a lot already. The plumbers are impressed with how much I know, even with no experience. Thanks for the vids. Keep them up. Ben, I got to tell you, look, I hear that a lot, and man, I appreciate it. The reason being is, look, I love what I'm doing, and I love teaching it. And, we've got our little plumber's mini course, the free course to find out what kind of plumber you want to be. And really that goes for not just plumbing, that is actually for any of the trades, because I ask about residential, commercial, new construction, service, union, non-union, things like that. It helps a lot of people. So Chris Buck says he's in Mercer, Pennsylvania, fixing to pick up a load in Dunkirk, New York, and take it to Flagstaff, Arizona. Chris Buck, how are we doing? Man, what a lucky man. Chris, number one, you're getting to see the world, but soon you're going to be plumbing. That's a good deal. Joe Bologna, you're welcome. Sam Ham, when you work a job, do you wear your wedding band or watch? My wife wants me to wear it, but I feel like it gets dirty even though I wear gloves. And Sam, I wear them all the time. I used to have a different ring that I would wear because I didn't want to scratch it up and mess it up. So, man, I get it. I get both sides of it. Kind of interesting, but I do. I get both sides of it. I understand that, look, man, our wives, it's a sentimental deal. It's important, and I understand it. As men out working with our hands, it's like, look, I do not want I don't want to do anything to get, and my ring is stainless steel. And as you see, I'm getting a red ring right there. It's been hurting because my hands are swelling up because it's hot. And I guess I lifted something the other day and it put a pinch on it, but it's kind of crazy. And Chris Buck, you got a package coming to you soon. I know that we didn't get it out last week. We're running crazy and we were waiting on one of the probing rods to come in, but we've got it all together. It'll either go out today or tomorrow, but man, it is on the way, brother. So Sam, yes, I do. I wear mine all the time now. Ryan Rogers is in Chandler, Arizona. Welcome. Neil says, just bought a Truma Combi 4E boiler for a new van. We just started a huge panel van build, but also having a shower, hot and cold water, and heating as well. Sorry about that. Had to give Will a shout. He's getting ready to get out of here. And that's what's neat. And look, if y'all hadn't subscribed to the Urban Explorer, you need to. And he's in a travel van, and he does a lot of cool things with it. And it's neat to see how things are different. And I had somebody get in here the other day and ask me about plumbing in a motorhome, and talked about how they did things and what they did and why they did things. And it was really cool. And I love learning from different people. I love watching different people and really just seeing what all it is that other people do. So, man, if you hadn't subscribed to Neil, the Urban Explorer, do so. He is a wonderful guy and a great moderator. Garrett G says, what are some key things to put on an application for apprenticeship? Thanks for all your advice. Number one, be sincere with people. Tell them why you want a job. Tell them what it is you're looking for. It's not necessarily the application. It's not what you fill out there. It's what you talk about when you get interviewed. It's what you talk about that you want to do. I love it when people come in when I'm interviewing them and I talk to them about, look, what do you want from the future? Oh, I just want to make a lot of money. And that's not the right answer. When you say, look, I want to find a way to take good care of my family. I want to be able to take my wife on vacation, make sure my kids get a good education. When you've got somebody that wants to do good things like that, they're normally going to be a really good hand. They're going to be around a while. They're going to work hard because they've got a reason to work. They want to do good for their family. And to me, that's a big deal. I see that we have Abraham, CMH Plumbing Solutions in here. Abraham, good to have you in here. I need to give you a call here the next day or two. Working on figuring some things out here. Claudiu Struddy. Man, and I know I'm butchering that, and if I am sorry. Welcome from Sweden. Good to have you here. I love it. Now, we get people in here from around the world, so it's really pretty cool. There you go, Neil. Get on them, brother. I appreciate it. Sam Ham says, our master plumber in New York City takes our temperature every morning outside our shop before coming to work. One of the guys said he takes Tylenol 30 minutes before work just in case. You know what? And Sam, I don't know. It's hard to say. If you think the guy's sick, maybe. It's funny because when I go in the store, I've got food allergies. My problem is I love cheese, and cheese, man, cheese builds up phlegm in my throat. Dairy does. I love chocolate milk. It does the same thing. And, talking about it triggers it. We went over to a burger place today and ordered these French fries that have cheddar cheese on them, jalapenos, and bacon. And I mean, God, it's so good. And of course, ranch dressing to dip it in. So, needless to say, I cough. Well, the problem is when you cough, everybody looks at you like, ooh, wait a minute. It's like, guys, look, it's a food allergy. So, I don't know. I'd say possibly tell him if you think he could have a virus that's contagious or something like that. But I'd tell him kind of on the DL, out away from everybody, and say, man, look, just going to give you a heads up. Don't know if it matters or not, but just want you to know. Team 13, hello, sir. Considering joining an apprentice training or an apprenticeship once I'm in the United States, 2021. Is a driver's license a requirement, or can I do it without it? You'll be in Philadelphia. Efficient public transportation. I would contact the local union in Philly. And the reason being, I would ask them and tell them, look, I'm going to ride public transportation. I don't need it. In Dallas, it's required because there is no public transportation. What's here is not going to get you everywhere you need to be. And Philly may be the same way. It may be, look, you're going to have to drive a truck for us, so you've got to have it. So I would contact the local union in Philly and ask them, is that a requirement for, starting the apprentice training program? So I'm not sure, but man, that's a great question. I love this. Got Southern Mama drama in the house. And yes, New York City, man, I love that. I've actually been talking to, and how do I say it without just getting all off in it? I keep telling y'all this is my sponsorship wall. Right now, everything we do is sponsored by Texas Green Plumbing, which is my company. But we've been talking to sponsors, and I may have an opportunity to go to North Carolina, talking to people about some things. So I may end up getting to come up there, talk to some sponsors, meet with them, do some things. It's been very interesting, but man, things are starting to move kind of crazy. So it's all good. And this is a good question by Dapper Mike. If I only want to do residential plumbing, is it a good idea to join the union since it's mostly commercial? And, the first thought that jumped into my mind is no, not really. But my thing is, look, we're a residential service company, and they do not train my guys anything residential other than how to solder, how to glue a joint, how to do this, how to do that. A little bit of science, a little bit of things, but they don't teach them how to run cameras, how to locate lines, how to rebuild a water heater, how to rebuild a toilet. Anything that I need them to do, they do not teach them. And that's really tough on me. But I will tell you this. With my experience, which I've done commercial, I've done industrial, I've done residential, I've done service, I've done new construction, I've been union, I've been non-union, I've done a little bit of all of it. And the thing that I'll tell you is you'll pick up things in commercial that will help you in residential. You'll pick up things in new construction that'll help you in service. Every bit of it kind of cross-trains. So it's not going to hurt you, but if you really want to do residential or you want to own your own company one day, it may take a little bit longer, but the education you get out of it may be worthwhile. So I'm not going to say anything bad about it. It could be great. It just may not be what you need right now, but I really think that learning it could be good for you. All right, so Steve says, everyone getting back to normal in Dayton. Not a lot of rain in the forecast. Had some local HVAC company whose owner said things on Facebook about George Floyd, and the stations pulled his ads. Good for them. And look, I hate getting political. Don't. I'm the most unpolitical plumber you've ever met, and here I have spent hours upon hours and days down at the Texas State Capitol over the plumbing license. But what I got to say is, man, that's totally uncalled for. Not just what happened, and to me that's horrible. And I mean, I've got friends that are police officers. I've got friends whose parents were police officers, and man, look, everybody's life has value. I think Black lives matter, but I think all lives matter. And I think that we as a human being, we as humans need to look at it and say, look, what can we all do to help make the world a better place? And sometimes that's all it is what can we do? Because I think it's going to take all of us. I don't think it's going to take a few. It's not going to take just the crowds out protesting. It's going to take other people that watch it and see it and ask themselves, what can I do to help? What can I do to make it better? So, I'm glad that they pulled ads from somebody that's saying stupid stuff or stuff they shouldn't be. Don't know what it was, but, man, we got to be very careful about what we do and what we say But the thing is, figure out what we can do to help other people. To me, that makes it all worthwhile. So the next question is, Mary Cantu, when conducting a leak test, do you look for the cleanouts using a camera or cast iron, or camera on cast iron? Also, when having to look for a cleanout on cast iron or PVC, do you charge for that as a separate service? Mary, the question is yes. I have used cameras to look for cleanouts. If we're working on a house that I know should have them, I'll always recommend running a camera with a locator in and seeing if we can find them. The reason being is if I can find them, then I can go ahead and do a sewer test. If I can't find them, and look, I've ran a camera right under some cast iron cleanouts that I couldn't even see. So here's the deal. If you don't have cleanouts, I've either got to put them in or I've got to find them. It's the only way to do the test properly. So yes, and yes, ma'am, we do charge extra for that because now we've got to come out with a camera. We've got to come out with a locator. We've got to do things that if we just walked up and saw the cleanouts, we wouldn't have to do. So yes, we do. We have issues with cast iron breaking your camera. No, you have issues with plumbers not using the camera right. And I may be wrong, but I've never seen cast iron break a camera unless I had a plumber using it like a hammer trying to go through something solid. And that's the only time I've had a issue. And look, I've got one of the best camera repair places in the world right here just east of Dallas. And I got to tell you, I think they're phenomenal. And I've talked to them about it, and they're like, Roger, look, cameras are built solid. I don't know that cast iron would really break it. And Mary, look, I'd be interested in talking to you more to find out about it and see what is going on. There it is right there. Yes, it is. It is Mr. Wakefield. Amber Mendoza. Go, Roger. Thank you for all the great information. Amber, thank you for everything you do. I do appreciate it. Neil says, and I know a lot about nothing, but willing to try everything. Roger's videos help me no end. Thanks for the kind words. You know what, Neil, look, man, you're a great brother. I love what you do. Love your attitude. I got to meet Neil in Los Angeles at a video marketing conference. And, you know, there's so many people that really try to do things together and try to help each other. And I've got to tell you, it's building these relationships. And, you know, this is what we're doing right here in plumbing. And, you know, it's funny because I always tell a joke whenever I go to social media marketing conferences. You know, if my sewer camera broke and I went right down to the street to the plumbing company and said, hey, can I borrow your camera? It'd be really funny because they'd be like, you know, just tell me where you're going. We'll go take care of it. We'll take care of your customer. Yeah, I'm sure you will. Literally, we were having camera problems one day, and a friend of mine who's a YouTuber up in McKinney says, dude, do you want to borrow my camera? I'll bring it to you. It's like, man, you've got like a $11,000 camera. Like, well, it's okay. You're just going to use it. And that's the kind of community this is. So, man, when I tell y'all to follow people like the Urban Explorer, it's because Neil's a great guy. When I tell y'all to follow Paul Peck, I tell y'all to follow Chris, the Construction Cronies, Paul Peck Drywall Tube. There's some great people that get in here. And I tell y'all that because, you know, maybe one day you'll decide to do YouTube and you don't want to just be like me. You want to be like somebody else. And you want to watch Neil, you want to watch Paul, you want to watch me, you want to watch Chris. And you're like, you know what, I'm going to take a combination of what they all do and try and do it because all these guys study YouTube just like I do. And I think that's a great thing. So I love it. So, Neil, you're welcome, brother. Ryan Rogers. Any thoughts on trade education within lower income areas to help support these communities and fulfill the demand within the trades? Would love to hear your thoughts on the obstacles. Thank you. Ryan, here's my deal. That's part of why I do. That's part of why I do what I do. The things that I teach, and I mean, you think about it, and there's a lot of plumbers in here. A lot of plumbers could literally go through, or a lot of apprentices or people wanting to get in the trades. Somebody earlier said, look, I'm 15 and want to get in. If that young person went through and watched every video I did and studied it, said, okay, I'm going to learn how to rebuild a toilet. I'm going to learn how to unclog a garbage disposal. I'm going to learn about a tank type water heater, tank type water heater. I'm going to learn about a tankless water heater. I'm going to learn about a sewer camera and locating cleanouts, all the different things that I talk about here. Swag, sewer, water, and gas, everything that involves our plumbing system. If those people would just watch that, and somebody said it in here a while ago, they said, look, the journeymen are worked with about the amount of knowledge that I have, even though I have no experience. He said, Roger, look, I learned it from watching the videos. And to me, Ryan, if somebody really wants to learn this trade, it starts right here. Start watching these videos. Start figuring it out. Start learning the basics. Start learning. I mean, I did a video the other day, how to solder. Did a video, I think today, how to braze. And it's so funny because I've had so many people reach out during my how to solder video. They're like, oh my God, please teach us how to braze. You know, our plumbers aren't good at it, or their joints look ugly, and I had a million comments. And the thing is, look, you can watch my video and learn, and you're going to at least understand the basics. So to me, whether it's a lower income area, higher income area, it really doesn't matter. I'm teaching people the basics of plumbing and interviewing and how to find a job and how to keep a job and how to become the best plumber you can be. And to me, that's why I do this. I want to help people. I want to help people improve the life that they have. And man, Neil, you tell me that this is the best place to do it. This is phenomenal. Maquitas Luizaga. And God, I hope I'm close because that name looks beautiful. How are you doing? Hetem 13. By the way, I'm from Morocco. Worked as an IT networking technician in Belgium and Germany. And I want to make a career change once I'm in the United States, plumbing or electrical. You've been great help, the best. You know what, man, I love that. And like I said, this is why I do what I do. I love it. I want to help people, and I think it's great. Thomas Curl, great question. What is your experience using smoke testing? Look, I do it. I do it. I love it. I believe in it. I think a lot of people are scared of it because they don't know how. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it safely. They don't know the things to do to prepare for it, to get ready for it. It's not difficult to do. You've just got to set up properly. But the biggest concern, the biggest thing I will tell you is always, always, always notify the fire department of the city you're going to be doing it in. Because when you light that smoke bomb and you start blowing it in the plumbing system, all of a sudden it's coming up every vent in the house. And if there's a dry trap in the house, say they've got a lavatory or tub that they hadn't used in a long time, smoke's going to come up it. And I mean, when the neighbors start seeing that much smoke coming out, they start calling the fire department. And if you have not let the city know, they're going to be out there, and guess who they're going to want to charge? They're going to want to charge you for rolling that big, pretty red truck out. So be careful about it. If you come to New York City, let's do lunch. I'll buy your choice of restaurant. Southern Mama Drama, look, I love that. And actually, man, not where I'd go for lunch, but one of my favorite restaurants is there. Julie and I went to New York a couple of years ago. Actually, it's been longer than that now. Went down to One Tower. Went up and ate in the steakhouse up in there. Oh my gosh, talk about phenomenal. That was really cool. We've also done that in Atlanta. Got to go up into the tower there and do the same thing. Amazing places. So thank you very much. I love that. Jeffrey Prates from Brazil. Urban Explorer, no matter who you are, you matter. Amen, brother. Jeffrey Prates, excellent job. Thank you. And we have another rock star in the house. We have the great Fanny Dunnigan. How are you? saw your live, just thought you'd jump in. I love that. And that's somebody else that's great to follow. And look, a lot of these people like Fanny connect with her on LinkedIn because what she's doing over there is phenomenal. And even when I get to watch her and see what she's doing, and I've actually been on a panel with Fanny, so I've got to meet her, got to do some cool things with her, but I always listen and learn. And man, she's phenomenal. There's some great people in here and bouncing back and forth. So it's always good. And it's always great to learn from other people. Dappa Mike says, safe, effective ways to carry water heaters and main sewer line cleaning machines on your own in and out of houses. Man, water heaters, what we normally do on like a two-wheel dolly. When we carry them out, we make sure we take Visqueen, we take plastic, we wrap the bottom, tape them up really good. We don't want anything to leak out on the carpet, and trust me, I've seen it happen. So we are very careful about the way we do it. Drain cleaning equipment, sewer machines, things like that. We'll normally take booties, put them on the wheels, roll them in. We've also got carpet runners that we can put down to roll our equipment on. It's all about taking care of your customer. And at the end of the day, every house you walk in, if you treat it like it's their castle and you're doing nothing but trying to take care of their castle, those people are going to love you, and that's huge. Johnny Bravo, how do you feel about interior systems, metal stud framing, carpenters union career? You know, that would be a good one for you to jump over to Construction Cronies YouTube channel. Chris is normally in here, but I'm telling you, he's doing a lot of great things. And man, he probably knows, he's probably forgot more about metal stud carpentry than I will ever know. He's good. Kyle Fogel. Hey, Roger, I'm a fifth-year plumber interested in branching into hydronics. Curious if you have any experience or interest in that field. And really, I don't know, what kind of hydronic systems are you talking about? I worked out at Texas Instruments, so I've done DI water. I've done ultra pure water, DI water, process cooling water, heating water, all kinds of different things. What kind of hydronic systems are you talking about? I was also a commercial plumber, and when I was a superintendent, I had pipe fitting crews and welders working on the crews that I was on. And it was really neat because the funny thing about it is that I had to learn about cooling towers and heating systems and chill water systems and all kinds of things. So I love it, know a lot about it, but which part are you talking about? See, we have Stan Chubbuck in the house. How are you? Good to see you. Ben Lawson from UK, and you're 15 years old, plumbing apprentice with a major organization. What guide would you recommend for me? Ben, the first thing I would do is ask you some questions. Is IAPMO and the UPC study guide, do y'all go by that code or do y'all go by the IPC? What code book do y'all go by? And if you're not sure, ask the plumbers that you work with or contact the city that you're in or go on our website and look as to what plumbing code they build by. And that's why I want to ask, because over here in the United States, you've got different areas that predominantly are ruled by different codes. So it's a great question to ask, because as a plumber, you need to know what code you're building by. And that's good. I really do. I like that. Stellar says, hello, Mr. Wakefield. I'm considering a career in the trades. Plumbing has piqued your interest. I'm curious about what the necessary tools are for a newbie apprentice. Thanks for all the great vids. Man, if you're asking this question, you've probably seen the videos that I've done about the tools. And the very basics are a pair of channel locks, a crescent wrench, a tape measure, a flashlight, a pencil, a notepad. You still show up your first day with that, and you're probably going to be ahead of most of the other people. Now, one thing that I will tell you is, and I've had this conversation, I've even made this video, is when it comes time to buy tools, especially in the beginning, look, you don't have a lot of money, or most people don't. So my thing is always, I tell people, look, go to a pawn shop, try to find some name brand tools, Rigid, Milwaukee, things like that. I would rather see people buy a used Rigid tool than buy a cheap new tool that's an off brand that's going to break. At least you know that the Rigid tool is going to last. So a lot of different ways to look at it, but that's kind of the way I would go with it. Almighty Reap 333. Hey, Roger, I used to be an aspiring plumber, but I'm going for college for firefighting. After I do this, I would love to learn plumbing and start a company. Do you have ways to proceed? Absolutely. Number one, good luck on the firefighting thing. I think that's great. And I know a lot of firefighters that on their days off work for a plumbing company. And, once you become a fireman, you can possibly find a good company that you can work a couple of days a week for us, because at least firemen over here, and I'm not sure where you're at, work 24 off 48. So the cool thing about it is you've got time that you may be able to find another job on your days off if you want to do that. And man, it's a great way to learn the career, grow up through it, and get really good. Ian Growcut says, hi, Roger, do you lift more weight in new construction than service? And if so, around how much would you lift for both? Ian, it's really, and it's a good question, because normally in commercial, you've got equipment to do it for you. Meaning if it's a heavy piece of pipe, you can get a roustabout. You can get a duck jack, depending on what size it is. There's a lot of tools made for that. I've even been on jobs where we had scissor lifts that actually had a pipe rack built on the floor of the scissor lift so it could lift the pipe. So, I've done a lot of different ways. So, very interesting. Urban Explorer, did you just say you worked on a cruise ship? No, but Neil, I would. I would have loved to have been like a bartender or a massage therapist on a cruise ship. What a gig. Kyle says, my hydronic heating interest is predominantly in residential heating and cooling. I'm very interested in heating and cooling with renewable resources, geothermal, solar water heaters, and all that. Man, and Kyle, I love that. I think that's great, because there's so many. Look, geothermal, I think, is going to be amazing in the future. Solar water heaters are going to be bigger and more popular. I was actually installing solar water heaters here just east of Dallas in the 80s. And this is when I first got my plumbing license. So it's really pretty cool. I loved it. And man, I think that it's going to be the future. So I think that's cool. And me being a lead AP, I probably understand more about geothermal than most plumbers, but it's a really interesting deal. And man, I think it's great. Grant Fouch, what size rotary hammer should I get in as an apprentice who does light service work on your own? Man, that's up to you. It depends on how light you want to go. I know that DeWalt and Milwaukee and stuff like that, a lot of their 20 volt cordless have a small rotary hammer, and that works great. If you're wanting to do a lot of major chipping and stuff like that, that could be a problem. Big John is in the house. You do it. How are we? Good to see you here, brother. I hope everything's going well with you and Mrs. You Do It. Good to see you, brother. Mary Cantu says, you mentioned talking to us about that camera cast iron issue. I can email you. I have that from when I called to ask a question, and Amber helped you flawlessly. You know what? Amber is amazing. She's my rock star. She is helping me on a lot of other things that I'm working on. But she is phenomenal. And I'm scrolling back through, just trying to make sure that I didn't miss anybody or anything major. Jimmy Winfrey, I don't remember answering this. Roger, I'm 15, want to become a plumber. What are some things I need to start doing to prepare? Watch videos. Maybe I did answer that one. And we're getting there. Man, I love this. So, the neat thing is I try to be different. And I have people, reach out and ask me all the time. And by the way, guys, if you have subscribed, if you've watched videos, if you've given thumbs up and comments and things like that, man, I just want to say, look, I appreciate it. It really is a big deal. It really, man, it helps. It helps the algorithm. It helps our growth. It helps a lot of things because we get put in front of some of the great people that get on YouTube all the time to watch videos. So I love it. But it's neat because, Kyle's talking about hydronic, wanting to do heating water, heating and cooling. Here's the neat thing about it is, look, plumbing, it's up to us. We can decide what we want to do. We can decide what kind of plumber we want to be. We can decide what kind of plumbing career we want to have. And I say that because literally I see people, or I used to see people get into the trades because when I was an instructor in the union, I taught first year apprentices. So I'd have a class with 40 people in it, 35, 40 around in there. And, you get people in and they just want to be a plumber. And I don't think some of them understand the difference between commercial and residential, the difference in service and new construction, the difference in union and non-union, and how it all ties together. And that's why I do a lot of the things that I do. That's why I teach plumbing. That's why I show people how to do things. That's why I literally have courses to teach people what kind of plumber they may want to be. Now, we're putting together a plumbing course to actually teach people plumbing, and it won't be given out away for free, but it's something that, like the young man said earlier, the plumbers that I work with, it blows their mind how much I know about plumbing and I have no experience. Can you imagine? And our very basic plumbing course teaches people how to solder, how to make a glue joint, how to braze. We worked on that one the other day. It teaches them basic plumbing tools, how to use a tape measure, how to do plumbing math, how to convert from fractions to decimals, decimals to fractions, how to do a lot of different things. Can you imagine what it would be like walking onto a job site the first time and you already know a lot of things? Number one, you know what a lot of the tools are. You know how to use a lot of those tools. You actually show up with a tape measure, channel locks, a crescent wrench, a flashlight, a pencil, a notepad, and the plumber's looking at you like, how'd you know to bring all that? Well, it's a construction site or it's a job. I thought I might need it. Man, you've already impressed them. I love that when people like Kyle are like, look, I want to be different. The name of my company is Texas Green Plumbing. And those of y'all that don't know me know that I'm a lead AP. Or that don't know me don't know that I'm a lead AP. But my thing is, I believe in building green buildings. I've been a part of Green Plumbers USA. I became a lead AP because I was working on green buildings. I believe in sustainability. I believe in geothermal. I believe in solar water heaters. So the future, and to those of us that want to learn things like that now, and man, I do, Kyle, I think it's so cool. The people that want to learn things like that now are going to own plumbing in the future because they're going to be so far ahead of everybody else that it's going to blow other people's mind. And, look at what I'm doing with social media. Look at YouTube. Look at LinkedIn. Look at the things that we're doing. How many people 3 years from now are going to look back and say, wow, I need to start doing video? Well, you know what? In 3 years, I'm going to be so far ahead of them. They're going to be like, wow, man, I should have tried something. And look, I'm not saying that in any way other than, guys, look, start looking at it now because the opportunity is here if you'll reach out and grab it. And man, if I could give you any advice at all, it would be, do what Kyle's doing. I want to be different. I want to learn heating. I want to learn cooling. I want to learn solar and start learning it now. So I promise you, it'll really help you out in the future. Eddie Zayal Canas, and I know I messed that up, but man, I am sorry. Hello, how are you? Louise Hutley, hi Roger, how life exciting for doing my plumbing course. You know what? I love that. And here's the thing is look, guys, I still get excited about plumbing. I get excited about learning new things. I am actually, y'all know that we're looking at possible sponsorships. We're looking at things. So we're looking at systems and products that we've wanted to use that we would really like to do some kind of brand deal or sponsorship deal with or something like that. But I mean, some of y'all know me and know, look, I'm not just gonna sell out for a price. It's got to be a product that I think's amazing, or I'm really not interested. And that's why we're looking at it the way we're looking at it. How can we learn? How can we learn to use this? And is this really going to help our company? And if it does, I'm all in, and I love it. So Louise Hutley, I'm glad you're excited about doing a plumbing course. That is fantastic. Ray Garcia, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. DT, hi, Roger. I invented a new plumbing tool. Can I send it to you to review? Your channel is great. Yeah, DT, reach out to me. Send me an email, roger@txgpc.com. Send me an email. Tell me about it. Let's see what you got going on. Deontay Richardson, man, I don't know yet. I'm talking to a couple of different people. I'm actually still talking to Darren Merlot, as y'all know. And you know what? If y'all went over to Darren's YouTube channel, website, anything like that, let me know. Did y'all go over and leave a message and say, hey, man, thanks. Appreciate it. Great tool, great product, anything like that? Did y'all go look at the training on the site? And I'm just curious because, you know, that's part of the sponsorship deal is, you know, people say, well, you know, will people look at our stuff? Will people come check us out? Will people, you know, see what we've got? And I'm just curious because literally I have no idea how many people went over there, looked at it, did anything, said anything, or what. So, man, if you did, I'm just curious. Please let me know. So I'm not sure what my next giveaway is going to be. I will tell you this: we're working on it. I'm looking at another leak detection kit, something like that. I'm also looking at possible sewer cameras. I'm looking at tool bags with tools. I mean, man, I've got things that I'm working on. And guys, all I can tell you is when it happens, y'all are going to love it. Because to me, that stuff's not just about me. It's about y'all. What can I do to help people? How can I give people tools? How can I help them grow? How can I help them learn new things? So I'm loving it. And I really do. Deontay, I appreciate y'all being along for the ride because I'm enjoying the heck out of this. Johnny Bravo says, I love your channel. Subscribed last week. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you did. Zachary Kent, gotta call a brother out. Zachary Kent says, do you still burn yourself when you solder? All I can say is yes. And you could see it up until like just a day or two ago. Yeah, I do. I'll tell you one of the worst ones. God, I'm glad my apprentices aren't here because they laugh at me. We were working on a slab leak and they had tunneled over, got up to it, actually taken it apart, fixed it. And they're like, man, it's ready. So I went over there to silver solder it. And I got to tell you, I climbed under there with a big torch. We didn't have air blowing. I'm like, man, I'm going to jump in, jump out. And I jump in, fire up that torch. And number one, it gets so hot because you've got the grade beam. You've got a tunnel on the side that comes down under the grade beam, and all the water lines are up in the pan. And I am literally in there soldering. And the plastic, like they lay on top of the dirt before they pour the concrete, the plastic is melting and dripping. And I mean, literally, I've got these little bitty drips of hot plastic. It's dripping on my head. It's dripping down my neck. It's on my hands. It's on my jeans. And all I keep thinking is, okay, just get it just a little bit hotter. You're almost there. And I mean, I got to tell you, it was crazy. But do I still burn myself? The answer is yes. Do I hate that I still burn myself? The answer is yes. But when it comes to seal floss, when it comes to solder, whatever it is, look, you're working with a hot melted metal. You're working with fire. You're working with a torch. You're going to burn yourself. You've just got to learn to be very, very careful. Dapo Mike, do you recommend getting all hepatitis vaccines before starting a career in plumbing? You know, Dapo Mike, here's the thing. It's not going to hurt you. And I say that because tetanus shots are good to have. Your Hepa C, I think it is, that you get. There's so many things, but man, if you just get all the vaccines in the world, man, there's a ton of them. And my thing is, my big thing is when I go in, if I cut myself at work, then I go to the doctor and say, hey, I need a tetanus shot, or I need this, or I need that. Man, if you got time and you think it's a good idea, I would say absolutely. And man, more power to you. I think that's great. Barney Films 85 is in the house. Man, you may be a little late, but it's better late than never, and we always save the best for you. So I am glad you're here. Okay, I like this. Jackson Go-Kart. So with reading manuals and textbooks and learning as much as I can, as well as handbooks having to do with plumbing, helped me become a better plumber because I already know how to fix a regular running toilet. Here's the thing. If you're wanting to be a plumber, number one, that UPC study guide that I've got in a video, and I think I put a link up to it here last week or a week before, but you can go to my video, studying for the exam or whatever, and there's a link to the UPC study guide. And in one of those videos, I teach you how I use it to study. I'm telling you, I don't think there's anything better. And I say that because of the grades that I used to make on tests. And I know how to study it for a way that benefits me. Now, I know everybody doesn't study the way I do, but that is just like reading a book where you read the question and the right answer, the question and the right answer, the question and the right answer. And I'm telling you, when you do that, it helps. It made it where I could understand it, and it made it where it completely made sense to me. So you can do it however you want to do, but I'm telling you, I think the code books like that are the best things. It's going to teach you the code, but find out what code you need for the area you're in. If you're IPC, get the IPC study guide. If you're UPC, get the UPC study guide. Either way, it's great stuff and it works. Thomas Curl, I will be happy to. Can I explain a little bit about my Lead AP certification? Guys, look, I've been plumbing for 40 years. I joined the union in 97, and by 2009, I was doing some of the biggest commercial jobs in Dallas. And this is all when green building and sustainability came about. Now, I already was a Green Plumber USA, but this new thing came about called LEED. And LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. And it's a neat thing because it's how to build a green building. And when I say build a green building, I don't mean just plumbing, I mean a building. And it was really tough because I'd gone to one of the vice presidents of the company I was at. And the reason I did is because they had me on quality control at the time, which the president who put me on that project says, I'll tell you now, nobody likes the quality control person, but that's why he picked me, because he knew I didn't care. He knew that no matter what, I would do the job right. It didn't matter if it was my best friends or whoever doing the work, I would always be right. So I did it. Well, one of the big jobs I was on out in Westlake was a LEED project. And I had to study LEED to make sure that we were using the right glues, the right primers. We were doing everything by the book. So I went into one of the vice presidents one day, and I said, hey, I want to be a LEED AP. And he looked at me and he said, no. And I looked at him, I said, why not? And he said, well, Roger, what you don't understand is the LEED AP exam is an exam for architects and engineers, and it's written by architects and engineers. And this is not an easy test to do. Matter of fact, it's difficult. He says, I've got, I think he said at the time, 3 engineers that can't pass it. I don't know if y'all know it, but I'm kind of cocky. And I said, look, I will pass it. I said, matter of fact, if I don't pass it, I'll pay to take it again. And I didn't even know how much it was at the time. I think it turned out it was like $600 or $800. But anyway, I went ahead and talked him into it. And I ordered the study guide, and the study guide is about this thick. And I kid you not, when I opened up that book, I felt like I was reading Russian. It was like a complete other language. So remember, this is an exam for architects and engineers, written by architects and engineers, and I'm a plumber, and there's stuff in here that makes no sense at all to me. and you've got to pass the whole exam, not just the plumbing part. So I did. I studied. And you're allowed to reschedule as long as you do it within a certain amount of time. So I rescheduled, and I rescheduled it for like the Tuesday after a Memorial Day. And it was Memorial Day or Labor Day, really don't remember. But what I did is I took off work that Friday. So when I got home for Thursday, got home from work on Thursday, I had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to study for a test on Tuesday morning. And I had a lot of practice exams that I got from different people and whatnot. And when I got home Thursday, I called the girl I was dating. I said, look, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear from you. I won't call you. I've got a lot to do this weekend. I'll talk to you Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. And it's sad because literally she called me that Thursday or Friday night and said, hey, look, I just had a wreck. And I'm like, are you okay? And she says, oh, yeah, I'm fine. I was just wondering, can you come get me? I said, no. She said, what do you mean? I said, look, I told you I've got to do this. So I'm studying this test for 4 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And Monday night, about 9 o'clock, I'm on the internet, and I found this video, or found this site, I guess, that said, this is the most accurate LEAD AP exam there is online. You will find nothing closer. Well, all the other exams that I've been taking, I'd been making about a 80 on, which is great because you've got to make a 70 to pass. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm good. I thought, you know what? It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I take this test, and it takes about an hour, and I made a 40. And I want you to know, I thought I was going to throw up because it was too late to reschedule. It's too late to do anything. So what I did that night is I printed up that test. I marked every answer I got wrong. I wrote down why I put the answer that I put and why the answer should have been what it should have been. And I studied that till about 1:30 or 2 in the morning. I woke up at 4 in the morning and started studying again. I went and took my test and passed it the first day. So that's what the LEAD AP is. It's Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. And AP stands for Accredited Professional. And it's a nationwide certification by the USGBC, the Green Building Council. So, man, that's one I'm very, very proud of. Thanks for asking that. I appreciate it, Thomas. Eddie Zalil, and if I'm messing this up, I am so sorry. Hello, I always watch your videos. Man, I love it. Thank you so much. Stan Chubek says green pipe wrench. Absolutely. Luis Perez, elbow cough. It happens. If you didn't hear it earlier, I was telling people I went out for lunch today, ate cheddar cheese fries, and I love them. Problem is when I get cheese and gluten and milk, any milk products, I get phlegmy in my throat, and that's what you get. Or that's what I get. So sorry. I'm under a house and doing a waste repipe. I think my guys are working on that today. So, man, good luck and congratulations. Grant Fouch says, I live in Missouri and schooling is required to become a journeyman, and that schooling costs around $20,000. Do you think it would be worth it to get my license in this state, or should I relocate? You know, here's my thought. And how long is that school for $20,000? And the reason I ask is, you know, you could move to Texas and you could probably make $20,000 your first year. Matter of fact, I know you could move to Texas and make $34,000 your first year. And if you moved here in Texas, you could have your master's if you went through an apprentice training program that's approved by the Department of Labor, or a training program that's approved by the Department of Labor. You could actually get your master's in, 5 years, 4 years to get your journeyman, and another year to get your master's if you go through a DOL program. So, yeah. Wow. Yeah, Grant, I would definitely think about it. Sam O'Shea says, I've got squirrels in my drainage pipes. What should I do? Sam, that's a good one. And man, it's crazy because I don't know if y'all saw Abraham in here earlier from CMH Plumbing. He sent me a picture yesterday God, it was either a raccoon or a possum down in somebody's two-way cleanouts. Abraham, if you're in here, leave a comment because, man, it was great. I looked at it. So, man, getting squirrels in there in the drainage pipes. I guess they're getting in through vent pipes on the roof. I would think about maybe going up there and possibly seeing, is there any way to put, man, something on there to keep them out, even if it's just screw a screen on it or something. That's crazy. I also had raccoons digging up your drainage pipe, but shot them with a 4 gauge. Man, you're having all the fun. Do you live in Texas? Because in Texas, it's about the way we handle it. Carl Beckman, do you like your General Mini Jetter? Thinking about getting one. Thanks for your videos. You know what? I do. I like it because it's small. It's easy to handle. It's easy to move around and easy to work with. We love it. It's cool because you can take it in the house. You can take it on a roof really easy. I'm wanting to get a big badass jetter. I want a big jetter that, man, will just blow it out. And I've got some different ones that I'm looking at, but I'm trying to figure out which one to do, what I want to come up with, and what we can do to make it work. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Here's a good one. And guys, let's stop on the questions. I know that I'm just about caught up, and I'm going to try to get out of here in just a little bit. I've actually got to go out and work on a van here in a minute before I get out of here. But Zachary Kent says, what is the starting pay for an apprentice journeyman in training in Texas? The cool thing is, there's a lot of levels you can get to. The very first day, walking into an apprentice training center of the union, starting pay is almost $17 an hour. So that's why I was telling somebody a while ago, in Texas, you can literally start out at about $34,000 a year. You'll go to school 2 nights a week while college and other schools are going on, but you're not going to pay $20,000 to go to school. Now look, there's nothing wrong with it. If you can go pay $20,000 and it moves you up the ladder and you get out and you get a job making more money starting out, I think it's fantastic. But the opportunity is, if you go to work for somebody else and you can make money, it's kind of like the video that I do where I compare going to college to going into the trades. Going to college can cost you from $100,000 to $200,000. And if you've got a lot of debt, that's going to kill you. If you go into the trades, I mean, the first year you're going to make $34,000. Your last year in the trades or in apprentice training, you're going to make about, God, 60, 70,000, 35,000 a year right now. 33, 70, about 70, 75,000. And that's with no overtime at all. And that's going to go up every year through that. So really it's like 35, 45, 55, 65, 75. Start adding all that up and say, okay, how much money are you going to make in that 5-year period? And how much would it cost you to go to college over a 4-year period or 5? I know people that have spent 5 and 6 years in college. What would that cost you? And what's it going to cost you in the long run? Because if you finance that and you've got to pay that back over a long time, what's it really going to cost you? But then turn around and look at it. That 65, 75, 55, 45, and 35, you start adding all that up. I mean, you've got $200,000-$300,000 there. What if you took that money and invested that each year and just say you stayed home living with your parents while you went to school or a training program? If you took all that money and invested it, man, by the time you get out in 5 years, you're going to look like a rock star. So great ways to look at it. Cliff says, love your videos, DIY guy in Southeast Kansas and Nebraska, Oklahoma, bringing 1950 house up to 202, bringing it up 2020 code. I like that. Stan Chubik says $20K on a plumbing school sounds like a ripoff. Never heard of that kind of cost. Either vibe, but, never know. 20 years ago, I went to trade school for telecom install, $1,000 class from August to May. By August 2000, was making $1,500 a week at age 22. You know what, man? Look, there's things out there you can learn that can really put you into money. And there's things out there that you can pay a lot of money to go to school for and never make $1 off of it. So different ways to look at it. But, man, it's different for everybody too. See where I'm at here. Yeah, it's getting to be time, guys. Alex Bertani. Hey, Texas Green, thank you for all the videos you make. They're very helpful. Started new construction on a nursing home hospital. And thank you again for all the tips and tricks. Got a $3 raise. You know, guys, that's part of what I do for. If you increase your value, you're going to increase the amount of money you can make. And that's what we get paid for. That's exactly what we get paid for, is to come in and bring value to the people that we work for. And if you learn how to do that and you learn how to increase your value, because I will tell you this, with me, when I was in the union, I always made a lot more than scale. Sometimes I even made double scale. And the reason being is I understood how to run work. I understood how to run work profitably. And I understood that, you know, if you brought in jobs on time, under budget, and safely, man, you were valuable. So invest in yourself. Learn the things that'll help you grow. Learn the things that'll help you do better things. And I love it because it really, it's up to you. And I mean, I want you to think about that, because you're the one who has control of how much value you can bring to your companies. It's not your companies. If you really want to bring value, learn something different, learn something new. And I love it because, and now I'm on a roll, so I'm probably not going to get off here real quick. Here's the deal. If you become the best plumber at your company, you can do that by knowledge, meaning you can learn how to work harder. You can learn how to work smarter. You can learn how to do things more efficient. And when I say you can learn to work harder, you can get better tools to help you implement things, to help you install things faster, better, more accurate, whatever the case may be. But if you learn to eliminate downtime, you're going to be more productive. And when you become more productive, you're going to make more money, because that's what people look at. Production. How are you producing? And are you producing in a way that really does help the job progress? Because if you, like I said, if you can become the best plumber for your company, you're valuable to them. And not only are you valuable to them, but you're going to learn that you're going to be the one that's always on the job. Meaning, look, I'm in the union, and people tell me all the time, hey, look, I got laid off. No, they didn't lay you off. You picked yourself to be the one to get laid off. And I don't mean it bad, but I mean, think about it. If I'm the superintendent on the job, I want the best person left at the end, because I want somebody that can do everything. I want somebody that can produce, can make things happen, and get things done. So guys, the most important thing that I've done for myself throughout my career is invest in me. When I tell people, look, I've got every plumbing endorsement there is in Texas, the med gas, the residential fire protection, the WSPS, the RMP, here's the thing. That was me investing in me. And when they see that I have that, and they understand that, look, Roger can run jobs. Roger can bring them in on time. Roger can bring them in under budget. Guys, it's just because of the knowledge that I spent the money on to train myself. What are you doing to train you? You know, when I became a lead AP, that was a big deal. I invested a lot of time. Now, the company that I work for paid for the test, but I invested that time to make sure I passed, to make sure I got the knowledge that I needed to take it. So guys, what I'll tell you is invest in you, whether it's learning social media, whether it's learning to be a better plumber, whether it's learning, how to be a superintendent, how to be a project manager. The things that you can learn can increase the value of you. And if you learn to increase that value, that's when you're worth more money. And man, there's no better way to put it. The more you're worth, the more you're going to get paid. And that part is huge. So let me roll through here real quick. John Canoy says, I'm technically an apprentice making $25 an hour with benefits. Feel like I'm pretty advanced though. Been running a profitable van with a helper for 6 months. John Canoy, good for you. Where are you located? Because, licensing laws and rules are different across the state. Where are you at? And I say across the state, across the nation. So just curious. Stan Chubeck says, I train an apprentice for $20K. Yeah, I think there's a lot of us that would, so I get it. John Canoy says, I agree. Being efficient and working smarter, not harder, is the way to go. Been doing this for 2.5 years, running circles around people who are coming in and out who have 20 years experience. And, John, and that's a good way to put it because, look, when I joined the union, I came in from open shop. And there were a lot of people that did not like me just because I came in from open shop. But one thing, and they talked about it all the time, was, look, we can't hate Roger because of his work. His work is true, square, and plumb. He doesn't have leaks. He does it right. He takes pride in his work. It always looks good. And guys, those are things that I learned. And those are the things that I talk about in my videos or things that I talk about here. If you want to be the most valuable plumber at your company, be the best. And really, there's probably no better way to put that. If you want to be the very most valuable plumber, the one that makes the most money, be the best. And that's up to you. If you're willing to invest in yourself and do what it takes, you can be the best no matter what trade you're in. And, I'll go back to when I took my RMP course. One of the instructors says, look, if you will get up every morning and study your trade, study your craft, study the tools, the techniques, the equipment, every new thing coming along. And that's what my sponsor wall is going to be all about. What are the new things? What are the things coming along that I can tell you about that will help bring value to you? What are the things coming along that if you learn them, you could make more money? Because to me, that's what it's all about. Sorry, I saw something moving. I'm just seeing if somebody's outside there. So to me, that's what it's all about. What are we doing to improve the value, to improve our knowledge? Because the more knowledge you have, the more you're worth. Cliff, will 3-inch drain line handle 2 baths and a kitchen? And my answer is, I believe yes. You'd have to look at a calc chart, but yes, I believe so. HVAC with Greg, the one in HVAC school from a few weeks ago, watching your brazing video right now, was wondering if you have any cutting copper and brazing copper tips. Cutting copper and brazing copper tips. You mean tips like tips and tricks, or do you mean tips like cutting copper tips with a torch? Tips, cutting copper. Look, man, make sure you've got replacement cutter wheels for your cutters all the time. If that's the kind of tip you're looking for, having good wheels, having different size cutters for different copper, great things. Brazing, man, the brazing went out today. Watch that video. Man, I did brazing for a long time because I worked for a fire protection company. So, man, watch that video over and over. And I did one the other day for soldering. And I think I did it for here. It may have been for the plumbing course. I don't remember. But, man, here's the deal, guys. Look, it takes practice. You can't get 40 years experience in a week. It takes 40 years to get that experience. Now, luckily for y'all, people like me are trying to teach you the things that I've learned all the way. So maybe you can be as good as somebody with 40 years experience in 10 years if you listen, if you learn, if you practice these things that we teach and talk about. So I just hope that it helps. I really do, because, man, that's why we do it. I see Paul Peck Drywall Tube jumped in here. Guys, that's another one. If y'all have not subscribed to Paul Peck, you're crazy. His YouTube channel is phenomenal. He is getting close to 100,000 subscribers, and we're like counting it down. Amazing. And I said that, wait, Paul, you may be at 100,000. It may be D that's counting it down now. I know you're both close, and I don't know that. Maybe I can. I want to see here just because I'm looking. Make sure. Oh, yeah, y'all need to get over 99,000 subscribers. Paul Peck, that is phenomenal, brother. Congratulations. You are killing it. So John Canoy's in Vegas. So, John, figure out what, I don't know. Figure out what it is you learn that help you get into a truck quicker, because I'd like to learn. I'd like to know, because I'm talking to the Texas State Board. I'm talking to TDLR about what we can do to improve the plumbing system in Texas. And I'm really interested in doing that. Cliff says, union shops, I will say this, working with the IBEW, those guys have to know their trade. Huge benefit. And it is. And, you know, think about what you just said, Cliff. It's education. It's knowledge. What are we doing to educate and train ourselves to do a better job? Because that's what it's about. Doom to Fuedo. Man, I'm hoping I'm close. Oh, wow, this is still going. Glad I got back into plumbing. Man, it's going. It is going. Paul Peck, brother, it's good to see you in here. And, you know, look, I was talking about Paul earlier. Y'all know that. Paul and Neil, Urban Explorer, moderators that I have in here. Fantastic guys. But, guys, they do a lot of what I do. God, they do it better. They've been doing it longer. But go in and watch them, learn from them. But most of all, subscribe to their channel and listen to what they talk about. I talk about R&D all the time, rip off and duplicate. Rip off and duplicate Paul, Neil, me, Construction Cronies, other people that get in here. There's some amazing people on YouTube that jump in here. Get in here and learn what they're doing, because, man, it works. Get in and out, worked as a plumber right away, $20 an hour. Mom convinced you to go to school for business. 10 years later, and after stint in the Army, getting back at it feels wonderful. I'm telling you, that is fantastic. I love it. Okay, HVAC with Greg. Back to it. Whenever I cut copper, I try to push, and they always come out mushroomed. We have to rebend the pipe out or use a swedging tool. My brazing joints are ugly and leak 80% of the time. And look, in that video I did, I talked about the way to not make it as ugly, maybe use a little more heat back and forth. What you're trying to do, you're trying to get the metal to melt, liquefy, and smooth out. And man, it takes practice, but you can do it. You can do it. It really is a good thing to do. Paul Peck, brother, you know what? You are doing amazing things. And I'll tell you what, look, I've got to hang out with Paul. You know, it's funny. We had somebody in here a couple of weeks ago, Paul, that actually saw me from C. Jane Drill. And I was talking about you, and they had seen you too. Look, guys, here's the thing. Here's what's so neat about this community. And this is what I love about getting on here. You know, even plumbers. I mean, think about the companies that are down the street from you. We bash each other. We don't like each other. We won't share any information. We don't help each other. And to me, that's sad. That's why I'm doing this, because when I started doing YouTube and started learning more about it, and this is the greatest community. Everybody wants to help everybody. And I think it's fantastic. So it's part of what I love about this. So Dante says, Roger, during the interviews for the union, what are some things you recommend saying to them when they ask, do you know about plumbing? You know, Dante, be honest with them. Tell them what you know. And if it's something you've learned on video, say look, I've learned how to rebuild a toilet, to check a water heater, to do this, and different things. And if they say, where'd you learn it? Say, well, you know what? And this is what I hope you do. Say, look, I learned it from watching videos online, but I've done it at home. Take apart a faucet, take apart a toilet, put it back together. Go down and spend $20 on new parts at the box store and say, hey, look, I can do this. And spend another $7 or $8 on wax ring and a toilet bolt and pull it and reset it. Go through and do these things and it'll work. Doom if we do. Thank you so much. Man, I appreciate you putting it in there because I'm trying to look at that saying, okay, how do I make it make sense? I got to quit eating cheese, y'all. But I'm not running fever, so we're okay. You know, anyway. All right. Stan, brazing is easy as soldering. It's just stick with the principles of wetting two metals together. There you go. Paul Bear Plumbing jumped in. Good to see you here. Man, we are fixing to jump out, but I really am glad you're here. Cliff, my business degree is almost wall decor. Absolutely. But it does help you run your own small business. I let mom talk me into finishing my degree. You know what? And look, man, there's nothing wrong with that, guys. And when I make videos recommending the trades over college, it's because so many kids today are taught if you don't go to college, you're not going to amount to anything. And I think that's sad. I really, really think it's sad because I know a lot of people in the trades that make great money. So, man, there's nothing that to me can mess that up. And here's a good one. Talking about that a while ago. Alex says, buy that Milwaukee copper cutter. It helps out a lot and it'll work up to 1 inch. Man, there's some good ones out there. Not just that one. Doomed if we do. Doomed if we do. Doomed if we do. See, it makes sense now. I like that. And Stan says, yep, heat makes the sulfloss flow. Yes, it does. John Canoy says, I want to say having a great teacher, common sense, motivation, and aptitude will get you in a van quicker. Don't just listen to what your teacher says, but understand why he's doing it that way. And that is good. You're right. John says, understand why. It'll help a lot. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Everyone starts out at day one, and they start out with no knowledge. None. Zero. Trust me. I get it. Y'all watching these videos start out with more knowledge than most people. So good for y'all. Doomed If We Do says, great channel. Thanks a ton. Brother, thank you for, wrong button. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. I think that's great. Cancel right here. Cliff says, I'm in the middle of swapping from 2004 Whirlpool water heater to tankless. Your videos have helped. Man, good for you. That's not an easy job. I hope you did a gas load calculation chart, things like that. But man, good for you. Alex says, I'll check it out. We mainly used a lot of Yellow Jacket, HVAC brand, and Hillmore. Good deal. John Cervantes says, I was doing some research. I'm honestly shocked to see the potential earnings for a master plumber. John, man, I got to tell you, I know master plumbers that are millionaires, multi-millionaires. So trust me, not a bad deal. Yellow Jacket brand cutters, Doomed If We Do. I watched your video about tank versus tankless yesterday. Had something to add while on the job site today. Good for you. Is it bad to drain a hot water heater? Number one, it's not a hot water heater. It's a water heater. The water's not hot when it comes in. Remember that because people will laugh at you. For the first time, 18 years old, yes. Number one, if it's 18 years old and it's never been flushed or drained, don't do it now. If you drain it, it's going to be a problem. And HVAC with Greg says, remember to like the video, guys. Guys, if you did, look, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, do me a favor, send me a message, tell me why. What am I doing or what could I do better? And I love that because I heard Evan Carmichael speak and he said, look, I really don't mind y'all telling me if I suck. Just tell me why. Tell me what I can do better to improve. I want to say thanks to Neil, the Urban Explorer, Paul Peck Drywall Tube, and remind y'all, if y'all aren't subscribed to these guys, do. It's what we're here for. We want to help, and those guys really do. Cliff says, or Brantley says, how hot is it out there? just roughed in a slab and I feel like I just got run over by a train. You're in Alabama. Man, Brantley here in Texas, it's almost 100 degrees today. Cliff said my gas should be good. I'm ordering the Tagaki high efficiency. Good new gas lines were installed in the house, 1-inch feed. Maybe good. Make sure you hook a manometer up and check your pressures. See how many inches of water column you have on your gas when it's running and not, and things like that. Johanna says, what do you think about working open shop, commercial, and new construction? Jump over into the Plumbing School is Open video. Man, I answer and ask a lot of questions in there, and it'll help you figure out what you think is best for you. And I've done it all, so I hope that it helps. Levi T says 17. Enjoy your channel. A couple of months left. Okay, guys, the questions. I am fixing to shut it down, so y'all feel free to stop when you're ready. Levi T says, hello, 17. Enjoy your channel. Have a couple of months left before you finish high school. Not really sure what I want to do, but enjoy your channel. You know what? I love that. Here's the thing is, look, I teach this because I want to teach people there's an alternative. You don't have to go to college. This can be good. Evan White says, thanks for the inspiration. Your line of work, you're a maintenance worker, which in this case, you do plumbing, electrical, appliance repairs, and light carpentry. Taking an exam to become a plumber's helper. Good for you. I hope it works out great. And then Cliff says, I'll be over near Carthage next week in FR Clothing, so I feel you all. And you know what, man, I like the Riggs wear by Wrangler. They're fire retardant, and man, I wear a lot of it. So good for you. Man, guys, we got to do what's safe and stay safe and do the things that we got to do to take care of ourselves. But also, man, with the world going on the way it is right now, let's find a way to take care of each other. Me, I don't care what color you are, black, white, red, purple, green, it doesn't matter. Man, we're all humans, and all human lives matter. Every one of them. So look at what you can do to help other people. What can we do to make our voices be heard to help make the world a better place? Man, I was going to get off early and now I stayed late. But guys, look, man, I love this. I'm glad that y'all come in. I'm glad you come in and hang out with me. And I really do appreciate y'all being here. If you like what we do, please give us a thumbs up, like the videos, comment, share it with other people, tell them about it. And this is why we do it. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. Again, thanks to Paul. Thanks to Neil. Thanks to everybody in here today. Man, I really do appreciate it. Guys, make sure you jump over to their channels and subscribe. They are doing amazing things. Anyway, guys, I will see y'all next week. HVAC with Greg. That means you too. Thank you very much. Grant, man, we do it all the time. I'm here every Monday at 4 o'clock. Y'all jump in. Let's have fun. And God bless you too. Guys, I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the Expert Plumber. I'll see you in the next video if you don't get flushed.